Hello Markham Gardens family, Daniel Markham here with the Markham Gardens, coming back to you guys in the garden today. It's been a while since I put out a video. We have been busy this season, just clearing out gardens and planting gardens, planting trees and flowering bushes and all of the horticulture stuff. So hopefully you don't hold that against me too bad. But I wanted to bring you guys along today because we have got a garden section in one of my clients' gardens that we are about to clear. Now, there are some other areas here. Let me show you. So we've got a few garden beds here that we have already cleared, and we've covered them in mulch. We've separated, we've trimmed out some of the other trees that were in here to try to make it look nice, to try to keep the weeds from coming back by using mulch. You can see right here, we've got individual garden beds that have been set out. Now, a lot of these are going to get planted out, so we're going to end up planting probably hundreds of different plants in these beds. But these beds did not start out looking so clean like this. They started out looking like a jungle. Basically, what you see there on the end where all of that plant life is, that's kind of how they looked. But I'm going to show you one here that we have not done yet, and we are about to start working on that today. So right here behind me, guys, you see this. This is just covered in all sorts of stuff, from Yopon holly to briar. It's got some pine trees, it's got mimosa. Now there are some beneficials in here. There are azaleas, there's some rose bushes, there's some things like that that the client definitely wants to keep. But a lot of this is just wild that has come up out here, and it's got to go. So we've even got some dogwood trees in here, which is amazing. Really struggling with the dogwoods because they're so susceptible to disease in this area because we get so much rain. But there are a few really healthy ones in here, and so we're going to go ahead and keep those as well. But I wanted to bring you guys along today and kind of show you our process. I'm going to go ahead and time-lapse it. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting here watching this video for the next hour and a half, and let's be real, about 20 minutes in, you're going to click off and go do something else. So I'm going to go ahead and time-lapse it. And hopefully watching the process will be extremely satisfying. You can see here, this here is a dogwood, and then you can just see, I mean, all of the stuff, guys. We've got Yopon holly. There's southern magnolia that's coming up in the middle of this. There are some things that we're going to keep, like farkleberry, which is a wild blueberry variety. We've got some wax myrtle that's just growing in here wild. But just a lot of crazy stuff in here, guys. And you see it's just a mess. I mean, you can't come in here and really plant anything. And we really want this to look more like that. And so we're going to make sense out of all of it. So let me get you set up. All right, guys, let's go. All right, so as we're going through this process, a lot of you are looking at all this and you're going, wait, is he using loppers to cut all of those plants off? And you would be correct. I am using loppers to cut a bunch of these plants off. Now, some of these plants are going to try to come back. Some of the strongest ones, they may try to come back and throw some shoots off of those actual trunk pieces. I'm not too worried about it because we do mulch extremely heavy. So we're going to mulch basically around 6 inches deep. And when you mulch that deep, it keeps a lot of those new growths from coming off because they can't find sunlight. And we get enough rain here that it basically rots them out before they ever get a foothold to start growing anyway. So what we do is we lop everything off at the base. Some of the stuff that we know is going to come back, like mimosas, things like that, we'll dig down into the roots. We'll go ahead and pull that out. But the other stuff, like your farkleberries or waxleaf myrtles, those type of things, we're just going to go ahead and chop them off at the ground, and then we're going to come back in and we're going to cover that with about 6 inches of mulch minimum, and that'll keep that stuff from growing back. So anyway, for those of you that were wondering and saying he's doing that all wrong, So when I say that we're cutting them off at the base with the loppers, what I'm really saying is I'm taking these loppers, I'm digging them into the dirt about an inch, and then I'm chopping that branch off. So we're not leaving any sort of spike above ground. If you leave any sort of spike above ground, then when you come in with that mulch, it leaves the top of the spike too close to the surface and it will start growing stuff off of it. So you want to basically cut them below the ground level. That way when you add the mulch on top of it, they're just too far from the sun and they won't get enough energy to keep growing. All right guys, so hopefully you can see what we've done so far. Basically, we have taken all of the larger stuff out that a weed eater won't pull out. There are a few times that I will go through an area with a weed eating blade, but this particular area, there are about 3 mature dogwoods that are surrounding it. And so what's happening is we have seedlings that are coming up all over, and we really want to keep those dogwoods. The dogwoods are really struggling in this area to stay alive, and so we don't want to kill off any seedlings that are actually growing because those seedlings might actually hold genetics that are strong enough to be able to handle the disease that has been coming through. Since these trees have been susceptible to the disease, we know that there is a natural evolution of things. So as a mature tree handles disease, it passes off genetics to its younger that can handle that disease a little bit better. So we really don't want to get rid of any of these seedlings in here. We want to give them all a chance to grow. So I'm not going to go through with a big blade and just sort of chop everything off. I'm going to use just a string trimmer and just be really careful that I'm not lopping a bunch of those off. But so we've gone through here and we've cleared down to just this little stuff, and basically what we're looking at are these little trees. So this is a cherry laurel, but they're just really tiny, so a string trimmer can actually go through that. We've gotten rid of most of the larger stuff that's, around this size and bigger, because a string trimmer really won't go through that stuff. And so right now, that's what Emily's doing. She's over here cleaning up all of the larger brush out of it. But let me show you guys through here. As we walk through, you can see here we've got a baby dogwood. We've got another baby dogwood, and we've basically gone through and selectively chosen different plants that are in here that are desirable, and then we've chopped out the ones that aren't so desirable. And you can see as you're looking through here, right here you've got a little baby sweet gum. That one we're going to get rid of, but right next to this thing, guys, are these little dogwoods. You can see there's a little baby dogwood. And then right here, here's another little baby dogwood. And what I was talking about, the disease thing, a lot of these other dogwoods, especially like this one right here, if you look at it, so you see the little speckling and the little hole shotting and stuff, and you notice all of a sudden we run on this little seedling here, and there's a couple of them here that have none of that, right? So they have no damage almost whatsoever. Some maybe on the really lower branches, but just looks really good. And that's what I'm talking about genetic wise. This could be one that just happens to be less susceptible to disease over the years. And so we really don't want to get rid of these. We want to keep them. But you can see that we've gone through, we've knocked everything down. And so she's going to come in, clean all of this brush that's out of here. Now I'm going to come through with a string trimmer, and I'm going to start trimming very selectively, very carefully through here so that we're not getting rid of any dogwoods. You can see we found an azalea here that happens to be blooming right now. Just absolutely beautiful. And but it's only got like, you know, 1 or 2 branches that are really healthy on it because it's been so crowded out. But yeah, we're going to be super selective as we come through here. I really don't want to kill off any of the beneficials. And when you do this, guys, you just work slow, right? You're just going to go through here systematically and methodically, and just make sure that you're not chopping the things out that you want to be in here. This is actually a lot of fun, guys. I love going through a wild area where you think you have nothing and then finding treasures and things like that in the forest. There's a lot of people around here that will buy a property, right? They'll buy maybe 5 acres and they'll have a tractor go through and just completely level it, guys. They knock everything down, trees, bushes, everything. And what they don't realize is that there are hundreds of plants in there that if you were to go to Lowe's, you'd spend 40, 50 bucks on one of those plants. And come to find out, they've got hundreds of them growing on their property, absolutely wild. They go through, they wipe out the entire property full of plants, and then they go to Lowe's or Home Depot or some store of your choosing, and they buy all these plants and then put them in the ground. And it just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like you'd have more treasures if you go through that property, flag the plants and the bushes and the things that are desirable, and then systematically go through and clear stuff. And you know, you might still hit some of those plants on accident, but at least you've saved some of them. So it really is a treasure trove, guys, when you start going through these areas like this that, you know, the wilderness has taken over. It's planted all sorts of stuff in here, and you go through and you clear it and systematically find all sorts of really cool treasures and stuff like these dogwoods. And you know, I think that's really awesome. We found a few rose bushes. We even found a spot over here where it was completely buried, had no clue that it was even in here. But let me show you, we found a lantana. And why we didn't notice it before, I don't know. But, you know, we found a little lantana growing here just along the edge. And, you know, it was completely covered up with weeds and other bushes and things like that. So totally cool. But anyway, so at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go through with a weed eater, and I'm going to go ahead and begin clearing, get the surface clean and knock it down to just the plants that we want. So here we go. All right, guys, so as you can see, we've got it all weed-eated, we've got it all cleared. I mean, what a difference. All right, guys, so you got to watch us clear from totally messed up, just stuff growing everywhere and super thick. Got to watch the time lapse of us clearing all that out. Guys, it has been about a month. We've done some other projects. We've come back to this, worked on this a little bit, but there's been a lot of other stuff that the client's been wanting us to jump to. But it has been about a month, guys, and we are just about finished with this bed. And I know this is going to come as a shock because we have jumped quite a ways ahead. We are quite a ways into this. So just to give you a preface of what's happened, we went ahead and we brought the mulch in. We mulched really heavy, about 6 inches deep in this entire area, just to make sure that we don't get a whole bunch of weed growth back. Now, we will get some, and some of that you have to come in and you have to remove that by hand. But once you do that a couple times, stuff stops trying to grow back. It loses all energy. It does require a little bit of maintenance. However, we've gone ahead and we've brought in that 6 inches of mulch, and then we went and we got a whole bunch of plants, stuff that the client would be interested in. I went ahead and selected a bunch of plants that would look really well in here, that would stay kind of lower to the ground so that the client could still see their water. And we went ahead and got those planted in here as well. Guys, we even went to the point of bringing in some hardscaping for a fire ring. And we're going to put a little fire ring in here, and the client's going to have some custom furniture put in. Should look really, really nice. But let me go ahead and flip you guys around here, and I'll show you guys what we've done. So if you guys remember, this was the same view, guys. This is right where I was standing before when you saw it just totally covered in all of the weeds and everything else that was in here. Now we've come in, we've put in a whole bunch of mulch, guys. We've come in and planted a few things like yesterday, today, and tomorrow's. We did have a few of those little azaleas that we left in here. We went ahead and put in some loropetalums down in here. You can see the dogwood still standing there. We've got some more loropetalums. But guys, we've gone ahead and we put in some Russian sage. We're coming to the end of the year on it, and so it's going to go dormant for the winter, and then it will come back like a house of fire, really thick and bushy with lots of purple blooms. These blooms are just absolutely gorgeous on them, guys. They've got a really, really pretty color to them, and the smell is phenomenal. But over here you can see we actually ended up having some Gerber daisies that ended up being on the ground. We chopped them off, put the mulch down, and those came up right through the mulch. So just a note to any of you guys, if you've got Gerber daisies, don't worry about chopping them to the ground. They will come back even through mulch. But around here on this side, you guys can see we went ahead and bordered the entire thing with monkey grass, or what's also called liriope. And we went ahead and bordered that. We've got a shrimp plant in here. Got a beautiful red shrimp plant. I love these things, guys. Love the way they look. And definitely gives a great pop of color. You can see over here, I'll show you guys the fire pit here in just a second. But we've got a maple tree that we had found. We went ahead and left that. You can see our little baby dogwoods that we had here. Now we're coming to the end of the season, so they're really looking rough at the end of the season. They tend to do that, but they're doing well. We've gone ahead and incorporated those into the bed. We did add in a couple of the vitex, or the chaste tree, down here, just to give some pop of color and some different texture. We've also got some Turk's cap hibiscus that we've spread out through here. We've also got some Mexican sage that we added in. So we've got a little bit of that purple pop of color, some loropetalums in between each one of these. And guys, just added in some plants that would give some pop of color, that would do fairly well, that don't require a whole lot of maintenance. And I mean, you guys can see this right here. I love these Russian sage. Guys, the smell, if you've never planted a Russian sage, the smell off of these bushes is absolutely incredible. But over here in the middle of it, you can see we have hardscaped in an area for a fire ring. And let me just get over here in the middle of it, and I'll show you guys kind of what it looks like. So we've got our entrance off of our walkway here. And we've just taken some large rocks and then some smaller pebbles that the client actually had at another area of the property. And she said, I really want to put those to use. And so what we ended up doing is we went ahead and got a few large boulders, went ahead and placed them in here at different areas. Just to give it kind of a natural look, we went ahead and went with mossy boulders. So there is some moss growing on them. Really, really pretty. And then we took these rocks that she already had and we filled in around the inner edges of them all so that it gives it a really nice look. Now you can see here's that rose bush, guys, that you saw previous in the video. We went ahead and kept that, and we incorporated that into the actual rock area there. We had some of these azaleas. We went ahead and incorporated those into some of the rock area as well. But right here, guys, we're going to end up using a Blue Star gravel. We're going to put some weed fabric down, put some Blue Star gravel in, and we're going to put a fire pit right over here on this area. And then we're going to have some custom chairs put in over here. And we're having those custom chairs made out of heartwood cedar, heartwood purple cedar. So those should be absolutely beautiful and should fit this area really well. Let me go ahead and back up here. So just to give you guys an overall perspective, guys, this is what it turned out to be after we got rid of all of that mess. And just cleared all of that brush that was out. And I will put a picture up right about now of the before. And now you see the after, guys. I mean, what a difference. And the client absolutely loves it. She came out here and sat in the middle of that fire ring for probably a good 2 hours just looking around and enjoying it. She's finally able to get down into this area. But you guys can see previously when I showed you this bed that was over here, all we had was the wood chip borders. Now we've gone ahead and we've popped in liriope soft borders, monkey grass around each one. You can see that we've done that actually through the entire garden. So we've got liriope border that is now surrounding every walkway. We've got this liriope on order. We're still waiting for a little bit extra. Our supply ran out of the size we were looking for. We didn't want to go with something small. We wanted to put in some larger trade 1 gallon pots in here just to get them going faster. But you guys can see it really, really separated out the garden beds and made them look really, really nice. So still working at getting some stuff planted in here, guys. We've put in some things like some Japanese maples. We've gone ahead and added in some things like volcano bush and some Japanese spireas. You know, there's just a bunch of stuff that we've been adding in here. And honestly, guys, we're not done. We'll be working on this for quite some time. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys kind of a time-lapse before after of what one of these beds looks like when we're working on it. You know, we've seen some really bad ones. This one was not horrible. Some of the ones we see, you know, we're pulling bushes out of there that the trunks on them are, you know, 6 and 7 inches in diameter. And basically it's just the same process, but just thought you guys might enjoy watching through the process of how we do some of these. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it didn't take too long for you, and hopefully it was as satisfying as it was for us, guys. So anyway, thank you guys for joining the channel. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to the Markham Gardens, if you would hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. Hit that follow button as well so that you're notified. Hit the notification bell so that you're notified whenever we do have a new video that comes out. I know it's been a while, guys. We have been so stinking busy, and I apologize I haven't stayed up on the videos, but we are coming down into the slower season, and hopefully I'll be able to get some more videos here for you guys on some of these different projects. We've just been on a little bit of a time constraint. So anyway, guys, have fun gardening, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Shalom under the dome.